Hi Quilters, I'm Shelly Robson, and it's time to pick our June project of the month. Last month we picked project number 2. My project number 2 is a project called Confetti Cake. It makes a 51-inch square quilt using one layer cake. I wanted to make mine bigger because I wanted to use both layer cakes from the Isabella line, the wovens and the prints. So my quilt turned out a little bit bigger than that. Here it is, all finished, using both the wovens and the prints in the same quilt. I combined them so each square has a woven and a print. Sometimes they're big, sometimes the prints are big and the wovens little, that kind of thing. So made a really nice size quilt, perfect for picnics, and it's just one block, so it's really easy to put together. When I quilted it, I just used a stipple with stars quilting design, just made it really easy. And then I picked a binding that kind of had this little bit of a stripe on it to give it a fun edge. As I said before, the nice thing about this pattern is it just uses one layer cake to make the smaller size, or two. If you wanted it even bigger, you could get 3 layer cakes. Here is the other sample I wanted to show you that is made with the same pattern, confetti cake. And this has batiks, and it was quilted in just a little loop design. Turned out fantastic. This is a little bit bigger than the 51 by 51. I had a few extra squares I could put in it, so I just used all of them instead of having leftovers. So in addition to the confetti cake pattern, that is one of our patterns from Peachtree Patterns, that's our pattern company, we have other projects that use layer cakes. I personally love layer cakes because all the fabrics are coordinated, they look good together, they're from one designer, but you can also cut your own layer cakes. Just take your stash, find fabrics that you like that go together, and you cut 10-inch squares and make your own layer cakes. You just need to have 40 or 42 squares that measure 10 inches by 10 inches, and then they'll work for any of these patterns. Another one of the patterns we have is called Piece of Cake. Apparently I like cake. And this is how that one turns out. These were leftover squares from a bunch of different things. I didn't know what to do with them, and we needed to test the pattern, so I just put them all together in this project. It's very colorful, and we just did a really fun quilting design on it. That one was nice and easy. Another one we have is called Brick Layer. This uses one layer cake and then one other fabric that makes these bands. This is called Brick Layer. It kind of reminded me of a brick wall that you would see. We have layer cakes of this one still available. And another sample of that pattern. And this one has the layer cake and then this aqua color, which was actually in the layer cake. And the fun thing we did on this one is in this little border on all of them, we quilted hearts in there. Another of our patterns for layer cakes is called Cake Boxes. Cake Boxes uses just one layer cake and a fabric for the border and the binding. This was the very first one we made from that. This is our test sample. And I'm going to show you about 4 samples of this one because this one is one we just keep remaking and remaking. I order layer cakes on purpose. I order a bunch so that we can make a fun sample and have it hanging in the shop for a while. And I love this pattern. It's just goes together really easily. This is another sample. Same pattern, totally different look. Love the florals on this one. This one was a flannel layer cake. Loved this line. This set of layer cakes didn't last long. Oops. And it had the little sheep on there. Really fun, and we put a flannel back on it too, so it would be extra cozy. Here is one more sample of cake boxes, and again, this one is flannel, but instead of putting flannel on the back, we just put a regular cotton on the back. so it wouldn't be quite as warm. That one was called Cake Boxes. Another pattern that we have is called the Cut Up. This is one of our original samples we made way back when the pattern was first coming out. So this pattern uses 36 of the layer cakes, or if you want to make it a little bit longer, you can use all 42. This one makes the squares cut apart, and you can either put it back together where all the fabrics match. You just need one layer cake and then a fabric for the sashing and the borders. This is a similar one where we have all the fabrics together that match. That was a really fun line, kind of a 30s look. That one had a white sashing, which really made those fabrics pop out. This one we cut our own layer cakes out of batiks and combined it with a red to really make a quilt that would stand out. What I like about this one is we changed up the fabrics so that they don't look like presents, they look just more random. That was one of those. And then this one is also done in that random method. And then to make it just a little bit bigger, we added a border to this one. But quick to put together, uses just one layer cake. And the last pattern I'm going to show you samples of, called Go Big Chevrons. This uses one layer cake of a pattern and then one layer cake that's just like a background fabric. But it's nice because you only have to pick one thing, one layer cake, and one background. This one is the same pattern, Go Big Chevrons. And in this one, in all that empty white space, we did a really fun quilting pattern. Kind of made it look like bubbles. That was really fun to quilt. So those are other projects that you can use with layer cakes. Now it's time to pick our project for June. So we have done projects 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have those out of the bucket so we can swish these around. We can figure out which one we want. And it looks like we are working on project number 7. I hope that's a good project for you. Let's see what project 7 is for me. I have an easy month this month. I get to work on pillowcases. So that'll be fun to do. So boys, I guess you know what you're getting in the mail. Pillowcases. Well, I hope you're having as much fun with your projects of the month as I'm having with mine. So get busy, get to work. Make sure you remember to hit the like button, leave us a comment, tell us how you're doing on your projects of the month, share with your quilting friends, and subscribe. So you remember to come back next month and see what's in store for July. Thanks for watching and happy quilting! Here are the patterns from Peace Tree Patterns that use layer cakes. The Cut Up, Tiny 63, Cake Boxes, Tiny 91, Brick Layer, Tiny 131, Go Big Chevrons, Tiny 115, Layered Ladder, Tiny 60, Snowball Fight, Tiny 73, Capital T, Tiny 88, Layers of Charm, Tiny 107, Piece of Cake, Tiny 103, and Confetti Cake, Tiny 46. Layer cakes currently available at the Quilted Forest. Isabella, those are the prints. Isabella Wovens. Storytime. We have some Hustle and Bustle left. A few Holly and Jolly. Songbook, A New Page. Grays by Sweetwater. Zinnia. Soiree, fun little birthday line. Wild Blossoms, and beautiful day. Hi quilters, I'm Shelley Robson, and we can never get their words out right. Last week, a quilt called Confetti Cake, and it started out with wow, hang on to the pattern. One of them is woven. One of the layer cakes uses blah, 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 blah. I wanted to combine the woven prints. I'm having trouble today. I had the mic covered up. Is that going to be a problem? I actually wanted to make it bigger, so I wanted to make it, stop laughing at me.